we were all given numerous COVID tests. I mean, so many.
My nostrils are so sensitive.
It's like up your nose with a rubber hose.
Yeah.
Throughout the weekend, this was happening too, and I am thrilled to report that Sunny and Anna's Friday results turned out to be false positives, and everyone is safe, healthy, and COVID-free.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. All right, so we're gonna get started today with a video that is a follow-up video to a video I just did the other day. I'm gonna link it below in case you don't know about this story. You can watch that video, get caught up, and then come back to this video to see my comments on what transpired after the fact. But before we talk about that, please make sure you go to my website at letstalkdarling.com. Make sure you scroll on up to the top. Follow me on all my social media platforms, then scroll on down to the bottom and make sure to give me your email address so we can stay in contact in case I get booted off of here, which is always a possibility. Okay, so let's get started on this video. So the other day, I made a video, link down below if you want to watch it, regarding Sunny Hostin and Anna Navarro testing positive live on TV for COVID-19 and then being escorted off the stage. Now, coincidentally, this very same day, Vice President Kamala Harris was scheduled to come on the show in person to interview with the ladies of The View, but that all got put on hold, and the Vice President had to do her interview remotely from what looked to be a storage closet in the back room of the studio. And it was just a jumbled mess. I put all the clips in my other videos, so I highly encourage that you go watch that. But literally the next day, okay, they come on air to announce that the test results were a false positive. Now, the first thing I thought to myself was, okay, all the talk about this being some type of a hoax, that they didn't want to have Anna and Sunny in the interview with the vice president for whatever reason. You know, Sunny's husband is, I believe, half Haitian. Anna is Latina, you know, so I guess the thought was these two women were probably going to grill Vice President Harris pretty harshly, I would hope, on what's going on at the border. Now, you never know with these ladies because they, you know, are completely on the left, so for all we know, they wouldn't have mentioned anything, or they would have praised her for what she's not doing there. They wouldn't have asked her the tough questions. It would have been like, you know, what are you doing? You know, where are you going? What's the latest book you're reading? It would be softball questions like that, nothing hard. However, this happened, and the rumor was that it happened intentionally, that it was a hoax. And at first I was like, no, they wouldn't do that because it makes them look really bad. But then they came back the next day to announce that the results were a false positive, which also made them look bad. We're gonna move into watching some video clips, and I'm gonna give you some commentary along the way because I had a few things to say as the ladies were talking, and I made a few observations that I thought were pretty interesting. Without further ado, we're gonna jump right into the video, and I will stop it along the way so that we can talk about what we're seeing here. So roll the film.
So in case you missed it, Friday's show took an unexpected turn when Anna and Sunny's COVID test came back positive while we were on the air. Live TV, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank Vice President Harris and her incredible team for working with us to make sure everyone was safe and for still doing an interview with us under extraordinary circumstances. We never came into contact with the Vice President, nothing, and we followed all protocols and precautions to ensure her safety.
So I'm going to stop it right there. So Joy says, we never came in contact with the Vice President to ensure everybody's safety. But let me remind you, when Anna and Sunny were told that they had positive results, they had already been there sitting on set filming the beginning of the show, right? So both Joy and Sarah, the other lady that is on the show, were sitting next to them the entire time. The audience was there. And seeing as though they ultimately ended up doing a remote interview with the vice president, I'm really confused why Sunny and Anna had to leave to begin with, right? Because they're vaccinated, okay? They are vaccinated, so they should be safe. They are separated 6 feet of distance, right? So they should be safe. The president is on a remote video, right? So they should be safe. So I don't understand what the whole dramatics of removing them from the set was about when they should have had their test results before they even walked on the stage, right? Anyways, let's keep watching.
We were all given numerous COVID tests. I mean, so many.
My nostrils are so sensitive.
It's like up your nose with a rubber hose.
Yeah.
Throughout the weekend, this was happening too, and I am thrilled to report that Sunny and Anna's Friday results turned out to be false positives, and everyone is safe, healthy, and COVID-free.
Okay, so I'm kind of confused about the timing in which they're filming this show because, like I said, they literally came back the next day saying that their results were false positive, okay? But you just heard Joy say they were given numerous, and she repeated the word numerous tests, okay? How many, if the COVID tests are so accurate, why do you have to give numerous tests is my question. Why is that necessary? Furthermore, I'm going to keep mentioning if you're vaccinated and it's not a problem, why do you have to test if it's not a problem? Even if you got the virus, right? They're telling us that if you have the virus and you're vaccinated, you're going to do just fine. So what is the concern? What is the dramatics with the multiple tests? Why do they have to mention all of that? Anyways, we'll keep watching to see if they say anything that piques our interest.
It's a mistake of some sort. So, Brian, where is it?
So they say it was a mistake of some sort, okay? Not only according to the CDC and a recent statement made by Joe Biden that I think, I gave the statistic in my other video, but it was like 1 out of every 5,000 people who are vaccinated will get the COVID or will get the COVID, right? But yet somehow it was perfectly believable that 2 co-hosts on The View on the same day during the same test come down with COVID. And now, riddle me this, color me shocked, right? They both test again and they both had a false positive test. Like, what are the chances that they were both given false positive results, right? I was looking up to see if I could find a statistic about how often a false positive or a false negative would happen. And there really isn't any good numbers on it other than to say it depends on the type of test you use. So they were talking about like the rapid test, which is what I'm assuming they get on set because they have to know the results right away, is the nose swab, right? And they say that that one is more susceptible to a false positive or a false negative, depending on how you administer the test. So how interesting that whoever administered Anna and Sunny's test was so incompetent that they didn't perform the test well, or there was some type of cross-contamination, I don't know, that they both got the same positive result, and then they both got a false positive result. What are the chances of that? Like, if just that alone doesn't make you wonder, are they yanking our chain here about this COVID thing? You have got to be the densest person on the planet, okay? You have to be boo-boo the fool, as a friend of mine says, if you buy what they're selling. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Let's keep watching.
I really want to acknowledge and apologize to Sunny and Anna because in the midst of all this chaos, they were put in this position where they had this information put out on television, and then to make it even worse, it turned out not to be true later on. And
Well, that's better if it was true, but not that it was.
yeah, it was that there was false positives.
That it was false.
Yeah.
Yes, that it was false positives. So it was unfortunate that mistakes were made, but I can confidently say that we have very vigorous safety protocols, that everyone is regularly tested. And I'm just so relieved that you guys are healthy, that everyone is healthy, and nobody was ever in danger.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's fine.
Okay, let me just stop right now. Did y'all hear Joy cough? Okay. In the last video, when Anna and Sunny came down with what we thought was COVID, Joy was coughing up a storm, okay? And now she's coughing again. Everybody in there is now wearing masks, which I will point out that prior to this episode, in the episode where they announced they had COVID, nobody was wearing a mask. Now they're all back with the masks again. So that's kind of funny. So start paying attention to Sunny's body language because she just looks like she is pissed. And what the producer just said, I'm sure he had to say because I would, Sunny is an attorney, okay? That's her trade. And I wouldn't put it past them that after Sunny was put through the ringer on social media and in the media period about what had transpired that day, I wouldn't be surprised that Sunny wasn't going to take some legal action unless they spent a significant amount of time licking her boots and Anna's boots about being sorry about this. That's the one thing that makes me think that it wasn't like a planned thing. Because I mean, unless Sunny's just an incredible actress, but that's the one thing that makes me think that it wasn't like a setup to pull them off and pretend like they had COVID and all this stuff. Because Sunny really seems like she is quite annoyed by the whole situation. Let's keep watching.
I appreciate it so much. Social media, I got hundreds, really thousands of messages, calls, text messages. It was pretty incredible. I didn't know people liked me that much. So thank you for that. But it was really uncomfortable for my results to be released publicly before I even knew what was going on, before they were verified, before I was tested again and again. And there are real life ramifications when things like that happen. My husband is a surgeon, as everyone knows, and he was in the operating room and had to be pulled out of the operating room because, God forbid, he's operating on someone and he's COVID positive.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it here. So she is now on her pity party about how the ramifications of the world knowing about her positive COVID test really caused her a lot of problems. She's going to go into other things, but one of the things that she mentioned was her husband, who's a surgeon, had to get pulled out of surgery after the news broke that Sunny was COVID positive. Now, I don't pretend to know it all, but you would think a surgeon who is doing surgery on somebody's open body would have had a COVID test that morning. Not to mention, are you not in a sterile environment wearing a surgical, like, real mask, okay? I think they wear 2 masks even, and people making sure that the room is clear of any bacteria. I mean, I would hope so. I would hope that that's what happens when you have surgery. Anyway, she's going to go on to talk about more of what she experienced. So let's keep watching.
My child's school had to be notified, and she had to be pulled out. My parents had to be rushed to be tested. And my son was notified at school as well. And so these are the sorts of real life things that were happening. And for me, it was particularly triggering because not too long ago, I delivered the eulogy at my in-laws' funeral.
Oh God, here come the tears. Okay, so her son had to be pulled out of school, her in-law and tested. Her in-laws had to be notified and tested. I mean, her entire life was ruined. Now let's just imagine for a second, you're not Sunny Hostin, a co-host on The View, who gets tested for COVID every single day. Let's just imagine you're a regular person, okay? And your COVID test comes up positive, but you don't know because you don't get to take multiple tests until they come out negative, okay? So that you can go back to work or so that your child can go back to school. No, you have special privilege, Sunny. You have special privilege because of who you are and what you do, that you get to get tested and your whole family, the whole world around you gets to stop to make sure that everybody's okay. But the common person doesn't have that privilege that you have, right? Most people get a positive test and they can't go back to work, they can't go back to school, right? We have some people that are about to lose their job if they don't get vaccinated. And here you are vaccinated And there's many other people vaccinated that are getting COVID. So tell me why we should feel sorry for you, why we should sit here and shed a tear with you over everything that you had to go through. Give me a break. These people are ridiculous. They're sickening.
Possibly be COVID positive, and my family could experience another loss, a loss that I don't think my husband could handle.
Okay, so she says, imagine how I felt thinking I could be COVID positive and my family was going to experience another loss. So automatically in her mind, she's dead. Okay, she got COVID, she's dead. Let's forget the fact that you got the Holy Grail vaccine, okay, that's supposed to protect you. You are already thinking about how your husband is gonna feel finding out you have COVID and you're probably gonna die from the COVID. Seriously, let's keep listening to her because she's going to say more ridiculous stuff that you guys are going to believe.
I was relieved, to say the least, to find out that I was COVID negative. And I always was assured by the fact that I am fully vaccinated.
Okay, so now she's assured. She said, I was always assured that I was fully vaccinated. Okay, how are you always assured you were fully vaccinated, yet you were literally writing your obituary in your head the minute you found out you were positive? Does anybody think that's weird? Does anybody think that that is a complete contradiction of what she just said? I do. Okay, so we're going to stop it right here because now they go into how, funny Anna was and how it kept her spirits up because her spirits were so down. And then Anna talks about how she was triggered about Donald Trump Jr., posting on Twitter that we should all now take this opportunity to talk about COVID and the effects of COVID on obese people because, Anna's a little thick. She's got a couple pounds on her. That is known to make things worse when you get sick with anything, right? And Anna took a few shots at him. Then Joy jumps in because that's her favorite thing to do. And then she said that people who talk about other people's looks do so because they have nothing else to say. Well, I don't know if Joy's ever watched episodes of The View, but Joy literally makes a career on talking poorly about other people, and so does Anna. So anyways, I'm going to leave the video at that because I don't want this video to go too long, but I want to know what you guys think. Do we still think this was a hoax? The whole COVID thing? Do we think that they did it intentionally so that Anna and Sunny wouldn't be on set to grill the vice president about how she's underperforming with the stuff going on at the border? What do you guys think? I want to know. Drop your comments down there. Make sure to give this video a like. Make sure to share this video. Make sure you are subscribed. And please do not forget to come back for another one because I'm about to drop another video and you guys are going to die. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a good one. Bye-bye.